Hey, what's going on, beautiful black people? How are you? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I'm out here in California right now. I'm getting ready to prepare for the All Black National Convention, which you can find out more about the convention by visiting allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. Now, I didn't know if you guys saw this recent story with the singer Chris Brown. I was looking this up on, somebody sent it over to me, or I saw something about it on Facebook. And basically, Chris Brown is kind of in the middle of, of a very serious situation. There is a white woman who, I don't know her name, but she was like a former Miss California regional or something like that. And apparently Chris has been accused of pulling a gun out on this woman, and so it's kind of all over the news. It resulted in a police standoff with him staying inside his house and not coming out. Eventually, he came out to greet the police. The standoff was, took hours to get through, and I'm looking at some of the stories here. And basically, according to Police Lieutenant Chris Ramirez, several people were escorted from the residence after a search warrant was served. No arrests have been made, and everyone's been cooperative. And I saw an interview with this woman that he was accused of pulling the gun out on at a party, and it was interesting. It was interesting, kind of hearing her point of view, hearing her describe what she believed happened to herself, or what she claims happened. And do I believe her or not? I don't know. It's not up to me to judge, because I don't know. I don't know Chris, and I don't know this woman. But I see people saying that she's a groupie, and groupies just want recognition. Well, I think it's kind of unfair to say that, because you don't know the woman, right? We don't know her. We don't know Chris, and so I think that what we do want to know is the truth. If you care about these kinds of things, I care about these things not so much as a matter of really caring a whole lot about Chris Brown's life and what he's up to, but more so in the context of what I was just discussing yesterday. I'm in LA, and I was in the studio with Damon Dash, and we got a special guest who kind of popped in. Damon and I teach a class called Intelligent Boss Moves about business, and we have the Intelligent Boss Moves radio show, which actually we need a moderator, because Damon does not let anybody talk, so I have to constantly talk over him, and it ends up becoming kind of a shit show a little bit. It gets kind of crazy because I have to fight in to get words in and all this stuff, and I don't want to be fighting with you, man. But I love him. I love Damon. It's just if we're gonna have a good conversation, we got to be able to have a good conversation. But anyway, one of the things that we talked about is Nate Parker, and we were talking about how basically being accused, in my opinion, a black man being accused of harming a white woman is one of the worst crimes you could ever be accused of. Because the white man generally, historically, has used his legal system to protect white females. If a white female is a victim of a crime, that crime is treated far more seriously than if it's a black male, or say a black woman or somebody else. Data pretty much shows this, that it's the victim of, it's the ethnicity and race of the victim that determines how the criminal justice system responds. And so justice has always been at a premium for white women. White woman screams, anything. The white man kind of comes running and uses all the power in his legal system to help with that. And so somebody's asking, is that my home? Is this my home in the background? No, this is not my home, brother. Tori. This is actually somebody else's house, and I don't know whose house it is, because I use Airbnb sometimes, and I'm actually going to leave tomorrow. I'm going down to Orlando to see my team, because we're going to appear at the Tom Joyner Black Family Reunion. So anyway, moving on. So when you talk about this, right, and you talk about this in the historical context of kind of the black man being accused of harming white women, I think about Nate Parker. I think about O.J. Simpson. There were some other brothers recently that got in similar crazy situations with white women. I can't remember what it was. Bill Cosby. You know, what's interesting is that there is kind of a different kind of severity that people tend to take, I think, when the victim is a white female, and especially if the perpetrator is a black male. What I've observed is that historically there's always been kind of a lynch mob mentality that kind of comes out of white folks when they get really mad. Like with OJ, when OJ was accused of killing this beautiful white woman, you knew OJ was done. An acquittal don't mean nothing. You know, just like back in the day, 100, 200 years ago, if a black man was in the jail being held for harming a white woman, they would break into the jail and pull him out of the jail and kill him in the middle of the night. So that's the country you live in. That's the historical context. So, you know, when I saw this thing with Chris, it kind of shot some alarm bells off. It was real interesting. You know, Damon Dash and I, the director Benny Boom came in. He's directing the new Tupac movie, and Benny's sitting there. And we were talking about Nate, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing from Dame about the Nate Parker thing. I mean, Dame seems to feel that race has nothing to do with it. That if Nate Parker had been white, they would have reacted the same way. That it's just wrong to sexually assault a woman, and no matter what. And I said, yeah, it's wrong, but you don't even know if he did it. I mean, he was on trial and they acquitted him. So are you saying that an accusation is an implication of guilt? If that's the case, then why would you have a trial? I mean, the purpose of the trial is to believe that a person is innocent until proven guilty. So if they're innocent until proven guilty and you don't prove them guilty, then why would you go through life assuming that they're guilty? And this is kind of what the kind of country we live in. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I feel sorry for Chris Brown a little bit, because I feel like Chris, he's been lost for a while. I mean, based on what he's, at least the antics in public don't say much in terms of how he's kind of utilized his intelligence and his talent. I think Chris is a very intelligent man. I remember after he got into that situation with Rihanna, I went on CNN and we were talking about that, and I felt the need to not defend what happened with Rihanna, the abuse situation. I didn't defend that. I don't defend domestic violence. I never would. But I said, he at the time, he was 19 years old. I said a 19-year-old kid is exactly that, a kid. So that does not mean that you let him off the hook. It means that there should be some pathway to redemption. That if I dig a deep hole for you, there must be a pathway for you to climb out of the hole. The hole is not meant to bury you forever. Because we live in a country where, especially when it comes to black men, we have people that want to kind of bury them forever. Oh, you made this mistake when you're 18. Well, you shouldn't have done it. So even when you're 60, you're still paying the price for what you did when you were 18, when you were a whole different person. And I think that for white people in America, there tends to be more of a pathway to redeem themselves, where people will say, oh, yeah, that happened, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, George Bush killed somebody drinking and driving, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, so and so was hooked on drugs, and she was the biggest hooker on campus in college, but that was a long time ago. People just kind of let things go, in a different way. I think when you're white than if you're black. I think that for black people, especially when you have a country that will give a life sentence to a 15, 16-year-old, and most of those kids are black, it kind of tells you that that part of the criminal justice system has a pathway, not to redemption, but a pathway to extermination. Now, before I move on, one thing I want to mention to you is I want to ask you, if you're on social media, if you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, please take 1 second to share this to your page. While you do that, I'm gonna grab a little bit more of the story so we can talk through it. So please take 1 second to either share or subscribe, whichever button you see, or maybe if you could do both, I would appreciate that very much. Our goal is to develop independent black-owned media, so we form partnerships in conglomerates with Michael Imhotep at the African History Network, Jamal Brewer at Black Knowledge, Tariq Nasheed with Hidden Colors, Lamar Tyler with blackandmarriedwithkids.com, and lots of other people. We form partnerships so that black people, we can do our thing without having to go, beg for a white man's permission. Also, I want to remind you that the All Black National Convention is set to take place the weekend of September 16th in Atlanta. It's going down. We have a long list of amazing people coming through: Yvette Carnell, Judge Olu Stevens, Zaza Ali, Killer Mike, David Banner, Dr. Tyrus Selden, Nomalanga Mushali Moses. The list goes on and on and on. Mr. Real Estate Jay Morrison, all different kinds of people. We're going to discuss nothing but black stuff. That's why it's called the All Black National Convention, because everything's black. It's 100% black. 100% of the time. There's no half-stepping, no kowtowing, no bowing. But we do even have Donald Trump supporters that'll be in the building, because I want to hear what they have to say, just like I want to hear from the Hillary supporters, and I want to hear from the people who don't support Trump or Hillary. I want to hear all those ideas, because at the end of the day, we need information so we can make informed decisions. We don't need anybody telling us what to do. Now, with Chris, here's a thought that came through my mind when I saw what was going on with Chris as well. I saw that Chris, you know, when this lady was talking about this situation, and Michelle Samuels is mentioning that they retrieved a duffel bag with drugs and a firearm he threw out the window. You know, it really kind of feeds back into my concern about the way young black males are being guided toward drug-related activity, toward alcoholism, toward things that are going to destroy them. Malcolm X once said that the white man will sell you the liquor bottle and then lock you up for being drunk. You know, he will put you in a position to ruin yourself and then destroy you because of the decision that you made. And so when I talk to brothers, and I don't judge, you know, at all. As you know, I even work with Damon Dash, and he likes to smoke weed and everything, and I don't judge it. Just don't ask me to smoke it, and we good. But I would just say that, you know, my appeal to young black men is to at least consider this. The reason that I might say that it would behoove you, that it would be good for you to reconsider the use of drugs and alcohol, is because literally tens of thousands of black men who are serving very long prison sentences for things that they did while they were high or while they were drunk. There are thousands of black men out here in prison right now at the age of 60, 55 years old, whatever, who did something at the age of 20 while they were high, sometimes stuff they don't even remember doing, and they end up in prison for the rest of their life. That is the reason why I've always stayed away from drugs and alcohol. Because the worst nightmare in life will be to wake up in a jail cell and know that you've been charged with a very serious crime that you don't even remember committing. In fact, it's almost like having a nightmare and someone tries to kill you in the nightmare and you kill them instead, and you wake up and find out that you stabbed somebody else, that you murdered somebody in your sleep. You know, and you're living that nightmare for the rest of your life. You know, I saw a story one time with a brother who was 19 years old, and he took a hit of weed. And everybody talks about weed. You know, a lot of people smoke. Again, if you smoke, I ain't judging you. But a lot of people talk about it like it's completely harmless, but it ain't harmless. Minister Farrakhan alluded to this on the Breakfast Club, but I'm going to go in for the slam dunk on this because I think that this is what the minister might have wanted to say. What the minister said on the Breakfast Club was that he said, when I was young, he said, you know, I used to smoke reefers every now and then, but the stuff that y'all are smoking today is very different. It's much more potent, much more powerful. And here's what I want to add to that. Not only is it more potent and powerful and addictive, but the chemicals, the DNA of the very chemicals in the weed has been altered to make you addicted, to do things to your mind you can't control, things that you don't even know are being done to you. There was a young brother who took a hit of weed one time, you know, because that's what all his friends were doing. A lot of people smoke, not because they really want to. They smoke because they think it's cool. Please allow me to be the first black man to get on a public platform and to say that, no, I don't think it's cool. I don't care if you think I'm cool or not. To me, cool for a black man is being intelligent, being strong, being focused, being relentless, being educated, being capable, and going for what is yours. Being ready to compete. That's cool to me. It's real cool to be standing on top of the mountain. It ain't cool to be sitting at the bottom. That's never cool. But anyway, this brother took a hit of weed, you know, one hit. The weed had something in it. It had like dust or whatever, you know, PCP, something like that. He said that, basically the story was, and I saw this news story, it broke my heart. He went literally on a crime spree that whole day. He carjacked somebody and killed him in the carjacking. He punched a girl in the face. He did all these other things that literally they had charges on top of charges for him. And next thing you know, he's facing life in prison. And they asked him, and it was the saddest thing. They said, so what do you think should happen to you because of what you did? He said, well, I guess I deserve the death penalty. You know, and it made me sad because he was only 19 years old. He hadn't even begun to live his life yet. You know, I mean, so many things have happened in my life since I was 19, and I can't imagine missing all of that because I was in prison the whole time over one tiny decision. So as the rapper Vigilante in Kansas City says, and I agree with him, a moment can last a lifetime. So keep that in mind as you think about kind of what you want to do and how you want to proceed with your life. This stuff is not to be played with. So if it does turn out to be the case that Chris Brown, while he was high, while he was drunk, pulled out the gun on a white woman, then they go in the house, find a bunch of drugs and all this other stuff, that's a problem. This man, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he might still be on probation. Because you know how this justice system is. They like to fuck you up for a long time. They'll put you, you'll do one thing when you're 16 and you'll be on probation till you're 31. I knew a guy like that. He literally he was 16 in the South. He had sex with a 14-year-old girl. Her parents charged him with statutory rape. He was on probation till he was 31. And then years later, his girlfriend got mad at him over something and called the police. And next thing you know, he was in jail, sitting next to rapists and child molesters and murderers because when he was 16 he slept with a 14-year-old. This is real out here. You got to be careful, and so I would just say with Chris, I mean, I don't know if he has mentors or not. I hope he does, but whoever they are, apparently they're not getting through to him. And I don't know if he would ever listen to me. I don't even know if I'd ever get to talk to the brother, but if he did come up and want to talk to me, I would love to give him advice. Another guy his same age, D1 the rapper. D1 is 27 years old, just like Chris. D1 calls me for business advice. He calls me for manhood advice. He calls me for advice on women. He calls me for advice on life in general. And I love those conversations because there are so many things I wish I knew when I was Chris Brown's age that nobody really told me. Maybe because the people around me didn't know or whatever. I had a father at home, so I wasn't as unfortunate as some kids. But I love giving advice to people. That's why I love talking. I love it when I see young brothers on the street who are 28 years old telling me that they've changed their whole life or shifted their trajectory because of something that I said to them. I wish I could do that for Chris. Unfortunately for Chris, the curse for Chris to me is his talent. His talent was his curse. The curse is that you work really hard as a teenager to become famous and successful, and you get all of that, but you're not mature enough to handle all of that yet. You're young, you're full of testosterone, you don't know necessarily how to make good long-term decisions, so you get a whole bunch of money, a whole bunch of fame, a whole bunch of power, a whole lot of women, and you lose your damn mind. You literally lose your mind. And in fact, I feel like after Chris had that situation with Rihanna, which I thought was kind of crazy, because I mean, from what I've heard about Rihanna ain't no punk. Rihanna is somebody that might hit you in the face if you make her mad. She's a diva. That girl's a diva. But so it was. I don't think it was as cut and dry as the media made it out to be. But it seemed like after the Rihanna situation, Chris kind of lost it. Chris kind of started wilding out a little bit more, trying to prove he's hard, prove he's a thug, and I just kind of laughed. I was like, man, why are you getting in fights in clubs, dude? You're an R&B singer, like. You sing that soft stuff, man. Like, quit trying to be Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? Seriously, like, I even understand more when I see Lil Wayne behave in a certain ways, because Lil Wayne kind of grew up in a certain environment that shaped him in a certain way. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of what I see from him, but you can look at his background and kind of see that, okay, you can understand everything. With Chris, I just don't see it. I just see another young black man who's trying to fit in with other black men and becoming something that black men are not supposed to be. Black men ain't supposed to be thugs and killers and gangsters and all these other caricatures that the white man's made you out to be. You ain't nothing but a cartoon character when you act like that. When you go out in front of a crowd full of white people, a stadium with 30,000 white people, calling yourself a nigga, got $40,000 worth of jewelry on, holding your nuts, carrying a gun, talking about I'll shoot a nigga in a minute, you ain't nothing but a freaking cartoon character. You are a disgrace to your mama and to everybody who made you into who you are today. An absolute disgrace, an embarrassment. They're laughing at you. They're not admiring you. They're laughing at you. They want you to act like more of a nigga because that's exactly what they think you are. They don't see you as a scientist. They don't see you as their attorney. They don't see you as the person that's going to get them to Mars. They don't see you as somebody who's going to actually make meaningful and intelligent and significant contributions to society. They see you as a cartoon character. That's what you are. And because you are so hungry to go get that money, because you were raised with this MOE mentality, because you just so easily follow along with whatever the white folks are telling you to do, you basically say, okay, to get more money, I got to be more of a coon. I got to be more of the minstrel show. I got to be more of the cartoon character. I got to be more of the thug. I got to be that much more outrageous. And then what's happening is you're bringing that poison right back to your community. You're bringing this poison mentality. It's not a manhood mentality. It's a little boy mentality. You're bringing that right back to your people, so your women don't have any men to look up to, because all y'all walk around like little boys with your pants down to your ass crack and smoking weed all day, sitting in your mama's basement in your drawers playing Xbox, doing all kinds of stuff that you were never meant to do. But the problem is that, that they got to you before I got to you. If I was hanging out with you since you were a little boy, I wouldn't raise you like that. I mean, and the other thing too is, I wouldn't make you feel like somehow by being smart that you're somehow square, or that you're somehow lame, or that you're somehow weak. No, ain't nothing weak about being an intelligent black man. I'm not a weak man. I will kick your ass in a minute. I'm not scared of you. So at the end of the day, we got to understand what it means to be a strong black man to begin with. To me, strength is not being a black man who will go kill another black man. Strength is when you are a black man willing to go confront the white man who's paying your bills and tell him, damn it, I'm a man. I can take care of myself. I can take care of my family. That's strength. That's strength. So I would just say to black men who are watching, I'm not judging nothing. I'm not judging anything, because we all fall for it. We all fall for it as kids because we don't know. We don't know. Maybe you saw a lot of things on media and radio and all that before you got here, before you started talking to me. But just understand, you got to really reclaim every part of your dignity, every part of your manhood, every part of your humanity, because it was ripped away from you, and you were convinced to make yourself into a clown. You were convinced to make yourself into a laughingstock. So with Chris Brown, that's what I see. I just see a person that I see intelligence with Chris. Chris has tremendous social intelligence. He has tremendous just intellect. You can't do what Chris does the way he does it without being a genius. He is not just a musical genius, he's a genius, period. I've seen him interact with other people at an early age, and I said, that boy's a genius. If he had been a scientist, he would be the best scientist. If he had been an attorney, he would have been the best attorney. But unfortunately, because the entertainment industries pull us in, we all want to be rappers and athletes and singers and dancers and all this other stuff. Because the entertainment industry pulls us in, it ends up becoming a brain drain and a zap of the resources of the black community. Our best and brightest are pulled into careers that have absolutely no meaning, no merit, no nothing, because that's where the money's at, and that's what we do is we go chase the money. Let me just take a quick break and say to you that, by the way, we do have a wealth building program for children. If you want to know about it or know more about it, take a visit to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. If somebody's, if you're in there, you can type in the URL so other people can see it. I'd appreciate it. Also, if you want to talk about financial stuff, a lot of people reach out to me and they want to ask a lot of questions about, like financial stuff and when to buy a house and how to invest. I've got a great program, a coaching program at AskDrBoyce.com. That's AskDrBoyce.com. And in this program, basically, you submit questions. I answer your questions with a video directly to you. It is directly addressed to you. I'll say, okay, John, here's what you want to do next, right? And I'll put that in with the course content. So you not only get the answers to your questions, but you get the answers to all the questions that were submitted by other people. So that's AskDrBoyce.com. Okay. So as we sort of prepare for the All Black National Convention in Atlanta later on this month, I think that it's important for us as people to sort of establish new paradigms of thinking as it pertains to who we are, in this country. I brought up Chris Brown not to sensationalize anything, not because I'm caught up in the drama and the gossip, not because I believe that Chris is innocent or guilty, but because this is kind of a recurring theme where you'll see so many of us get caught up in silly stuff. You'll see so many black men lose their lives over silly things, get locked up over silly things. And to me, I believe if you're going to get locked up, or if you're going to lose your life over something meaningful. Like for example, what I do, the things I talk about are very threatening to the establishment. If 10 million black people took to heart everything that I'm telling you every day about wealth building and how investing just $100 a month in the stock market can make your children millionaires and starting businesses and things like that. If 10 million black people took to heart what I was saying, it would literally shift the whole trajectory of the community. And so therefore, I've always known I've been a threat. And the biggest threat in America is an intelligent black man who speaks the truth. And I'm fine with that. And I thought about that. I said, well, what if they killed me? What if they, what if they pretended like I overdosed on heroin or shot me, walking down the street, or came in my house and pretended I committed suicide? That doesn't really bother me because at the very least, the thing is, everybody's going to die. Everybody's going to lose their life at some point. So I'm like, well, at least I get to die for something good. At least I get to die for something meaningful. A lot of black men die over nothing. They die over $20 because somebody got their shoe stepped on, right? And so the other interesting thing, too, is that, when you talk about the community and you hear people like Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton trying to talk like they have the solutions for the black people, which I don't believe. I believe black people have the solutions for black people. That's why at the All-Black National Convention, we're actually going to launch a black political party. We're literally going to elect our own representative who will maybe run for president or whatever. I'm just going to talk to the experts and let them help me decide what to do with this. But, when you hear them talk about what black people need, it's just such a ridiculous conversation. Because they don't have the first clue about what black people need. They don't even ask black people what they need. They kind of look at us and sort of, I guess we become like these political puppets. We become these pawns in their bigger game. And so you got Trump appealing to black voters, by saying, well, look, the Democrats ain't doing nothing for you. You got the Democrats saying, oh, well, Trump is a racist. Well, he's not really appealing to black voters. He's just trying to get black votes. He's trying to use black people. Well, what the hell you think the Democrats are doing? I mean, what do you think the Democrats are doing? You think the Democrats are coming into your church and talking to you and eating fried chicken with the pastor because they love your ass? No, they don't love you. They're trying to get your vote. They're trying to get your vote. And the reason that it's so easy for Donald Trump to come in and say, well, look at what the Democrats did. Democrats ain't did nothing for you. It's because it's true. Because he's right. Right? But I mean, it ain't like Trump has done more. It ain't like the Republicans have done more. So it literally becomes this ridiculous shit show where you've got two really embarrassingly impotent political parties trying to convince you that the other party is worse than they are. And I think it's absolutely sick. It's a disgrace to America. Black people, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't put it this way. I don't blame any black person who just withdraws from the political system altogether, who just walks away. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying if you tell me you did that, I'm not going to be that person saying, well, you need to vote. If you don't vote, you don't count. No, if you vote, you still don't count. That's just true. Or your ancestors died for you to have the right to vote. Yeah, but, the ancestors actually didn't die for us to have, they died for us to have the right to vote, not the obligation to vote. And also, just because they died for something doesn't mean it was the best thing for us to do. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying that all questions should be laid on the table. And all conversations need to be had. Anybody who's afraid of a conversation is usually afraid of the truth. They're afraid of what's going to come out of that conversation. That's why even with the LGBT situation, there are a whole lot of people that won't even allow, scientists at certain universities to even do certain kinds of research on the gay community. Like from what I understand, there aren't any studies that are being done. Remember when they had that thing with the Boy Scouts and the whole gay, the gay scout leaders taking little boys out into the woods and all that stuff. And a lot of parents were like, I don't think I'd be comfortable with my son out in the woods with a grown man who sleeps with men. Well, I bet you that if somebody said at the University of North Carolina or the University of Chicago or whatever, said, I want to do research. I want to find out, is there any connection, between pedophilia and homosexuality? Because a lot of us know black people in our own families who turned out to be on the down low, not because they were born gay, but because they were molested as children or ended up going to prison. A whole lot of dudes don't have sex with men until they go to prison, right? And so if there was somebody who wanted to do research on that topic, just to find out the truth, just to exonerate, just to kind of say, okay, let's enlighten ourselves. Let's just find out if there's a connection here. A lot of universities would not fund that research. They would call it homophobic before the research even begins. And the reason they do that is because there is a political agenda to get you to think about certain things in a certain way. And this is not pro or anti-LGBT. It's just a fundamental fact from what I've observed. And so, because at the end of the day, when I heard a mother tell me why she wouldn't want her son with a gay scout leader, she explained it very clearly, and it made sense. She said, look, I wouldn't want my daughter out in the woods as a brownie with a man who wanted to have sex with women. I wouldn't want my daughter. I want my daughter out there with a woman, right? Well, same thing. Why would I want my son out in the woods with somebody that has sex with the same gender, right? Because that would be the same as having my daughter out in the woods with a heterosexual man. She said, I wouldn't want my daughter out in the woods with a heterosexual man. So long story short, I probably get in trouble for this. I'm sure I'm politically incorrect enough that there are a lot of universities that probably would never want somebody like me speaking on campus, but that's actually okay. Because we developed enough of a distribution channel for our ideas online and other places, we don't need to go to universities for me to speak to black people. I don't need to be invited to your child's school to communicate with your child, because I'm communicating with you, and many people bring their children to our conversation. We don't need to worry about what the public schools are doing in terms of educating our kids, because we actually created 2 platforms that educate black children, where we gather black educators. We have yourbblackeducation.com, where basically we have black educators who compile curricula for black children. So at yourbblackeducation.com, you can put your child through those programs and get an authentic black education. If you want to learn black history, we have the blackhistoryschool.com. So at the blackhistoryschool.com, you can educate your child on black history. You don't need a university to do it. You don't need a public school to do it. So check out theblackhistoryschool.com. Write it down, somebody, if you want other people to see it. So write it down for me: the blackhistoryschool.com, the blackbusinessschool.com, and yourbblackeducation.com. Don't forget the THE, the blackhistoryschool.com and the blackbusinessschool.com. Anyway, enough of that. But that wasn't a plug. That was just actually somewhere I was going in that direction, so I might as well let you know, because we have to tell you guys about it, because your support is really important in terms of us raising money to do what we want to do. And the reason that we develop the platforms independently is for conversations like this. I kind of like to go wherever the truth is. A lot of people want you to stop when they start to get uncomfortable, and I don't think that's healthy for any intelligent person out here. So I'm not speaking to ignorant people. I'm not speaking to brainwashed people. I'm not speaking to people who kind of follow the crowd. I'm not speaking to people who are even in the mainstream, because the mainstream's stupid. There's a lot of stuff happening in mainstream America that's dumb. Like, I don't understand why 50 million people follow Kim Kardashian, because I don't really see her doing anything that's meaningful to the world. I'm not dissing Kim at all. Not dissing her at all. Not dissing her at all. In fact, I know people that know Kim, so don't think that this is a diss. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like why would 50 million people follow somebody that's really just teaching them how to put on makeup or taking selfies at the gym? Why aren't you at the gym? Why aren't you out building something for yourself? Why are you following these celebrities and living through them? That's weird. That's very strange. It almost speaks to some sort of weird depression that people must be experiencing, where they feel disconnected and alienated